Hi everyone, it's Katrina with Sacktown 5. We're here on the Capitol grounds, once again doing the Capitol Corner in the space of cannabis. And I'm here with Amy Jenkins talking about obstacles in the cannabis industry when it comes to 2019, what to look out for. Thanks again for being with us.
My pleasure.
Let me know, Amy, what you think are some of the top obstacles when it comes to cannabis, because when we talk about cannabis, it's already an interesting dialogue, obviously.
Right.
And we have legislation we've covered, we've talked about budgets, we've talked about tax. Now, when it comes to obstacles on their end, what are they talking to you about as your clients?
Well, I would say probably the biggest obstacle is the lack of local authorization. So the cornerstone of the medicinal and adult use framework is this local authorization or dual license component. So the state cannot actually grant a cannabis operator a license unless they're locally authorized. And quite honestly, most communities in California still have bans on commercial cannabis activity. So with that, you're creating a whole host of additional obstacles because you have this crazy underground market out there that isn't operating with any local approval, that isn't complying with any of our regulations. And so it makes it all the more difficult for the industry. So frankly, the number one question I get is how are we going to open up more communities?
And what does that mean when it comes to the local cities around California having to go through that process first before the state approves? I mean, is there a backlog? Is there anything when it comes to, are your clients or these folks telling you that it's taking longer than it should? What does that look like when it comes to obstacles?
Well, actually, you raised two different points. So first, you've got the banned jurisdictions where there's nothing on the books with the exception of, we're banning commercial cannabis activity. Okay, so that's one obstacle. And then what you're touching on is a backlog when you do have jurisdictions that are authorizing. Most jurisdictions use something called a conditional use permit process as a condition of actually getting a permit or authorization. That could take 6 to 9 months in some jurisdictions. You deal with building permit issues. There's fire inspection. So there's all kinds of criteria at the local level that a compliant cannabis operator has to follow to be locally approved. And all of that all of those parameters are necessary before they can actually get a license.
So the processes are obviously very important, and going forward, we're going to keep a close eye and have a dialogue with Amy about all these various obstacles to look out for when it comes to the industry itself, when obviously even the licensing process, right?
Yes, indeed.
So 2019, a lot to cover when it comes to cannabis. Thanks for the follows and ads, and stay tuned.